I just got out of the shower. There's some juice.
You want to explain to me what you're doing here?
I came looking for booty.
You came looking for sex with an underage boy?
Oh no, I ain't come looking for no little boys. I ain't got no milk, no cookies, nothing. Do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
This guy...
Don't make me ruin that bite. No, Chris, I'm a warrior.
This was my first attempt at playing Fear and Hunger. Going in blind, I picked Outlander because he looked cool. So starting the journey, I didn't know how to check barrels, so I just kind of moseyed right past them. I soon after did realize how to though. You step inside the darkness. You feel your sanity decline with every passing moment. An unnatural hunger begins draining your strength. The air stands still and has an ominous odor to it. But I found a stick. The guard is an enemy with a stinger, aka meat just hanging out, and a meat cleaver. If you chop off his head, it's instant kill. Same with most enemies. But if you leave his cleaver arm, he still slices off your arm after death. After defeating him, we get the option to search him, which I do. I found a ritual circle, which I didn't know the point of, but we'll come back. Reaching outside, we find ourselves in a courtyard with just a bunch of dead bodies just hanging around. So with nothing but a bunch of bodies hanging around and a door at the end, I decided to go and jump down the well. The room is filled with meat-eating flies. So the coin flip mechanic, guess what it's gonna land on, and you get something good. If you get it wrong, you either get nothing or a lesser version of what you could have got. Level 3 basement. Your dark descent is just in its beginning steps. There's a tombstone here. Here lies Yuho of the Northern Woods. Although he only briefly served in the dungeon, he is severely missed. There's a tombstone here. Here lies Sir Sonia. Her brute strength beat every man in an arm wrestling match. There's a tombstone here. Here lies Jonah. This one desperately sought death, but hope she's glad now that she's found it. There is a tombstone here. Here lies Sir Jacob, the great storyteller. The cross is missing any text for some reason. The hole has already been dug here. The pit is almost like it's waiting for someone. Here lies Sir Anders. Someone has engraved something on the tombstone. Go back and taste your creations once. We meet again, dear friend. The mage no one asked for, but the mage we deserved and got. A nameless grave stands here. The dirt seems somewhat fresh, suggesting it's not old. The
coffin is wide open. There are scratch marks on the cover, so I think someone or something is sealed inside once.
So with a scary Dark Souls looking boss nearby, I decided to nap so I can save my game.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no. The prisons. Even the smallest noises echo in this hall. Not too sure I actually wanted to explore the prisons yet. I just made my way around the place up until I found my escape. The smell of gore and flesh fills the damp air. NANI? So yeah, this reptile guard kind of guards this gore-filled place. Realizing I was outmatched in our battle, I just escaped, jumping down a well and ultimately breaking my legs. Such a large cavern was hidden beneath the dungeon. So yeah, with my legs all busted to bits, I just decided to crawl up until I found something. Which we eventually do. A cave. Feel a terrible presence entering these dungeons. Mind tracks guide you to deeper darkness. You notice a person kneeling in darkness. The person doesn't seem to radiate immediate danger or aggression, and your presence seems hidden. So we decided to show ourselves. Oh, new visitors. My name is Norsimus. So Norsimus is an alchemist, which we can't tell the gender of or the identity of. We stay cautious, and they act a little funny, and simply just walk off, disappearing. I'm not left with very much time to think about it as a raven starts coming after me. I eventually escaped because his stupid ass got stuck on a wall. But I'm not safe yet because at 1 health, I got into a fight with a night witch, who I ended up one-shotting. So still headed on our busted up legs journey, we ended up coming across a door which I chose to open. Making my way inside, I see something glaring in the water, so I try to take it out. And it's a goddamn sea creature. Oh lord. This dude right here was my biggest op. Going back to where the boss was and around his area, I find Seymour, a heavy knight who was injured by one of those octopus looking things because they acid splurted on him. He's pretty powerful and you can beat him for one of the best starting weapons, but I'm not going to do that because he was too strong. Ultimately, we just gathered from him some tips on combat, and just check on him. But it's not like he's doing too well anyways, because all the men he came down with are for sure dead, and he's the lone survivor. But he's coolin'. I'm gonna leave him alive. So going back through the prisons and ending up wherever this is, we find a different path. Deciding to go through it, I find some things that don't look very sanitary. We find what looks to be a torture room, and even finding a scalping knife or skinning. The game doesn't leave you guessing for too long who this stuff belongs to. As you hear a noise coming to you, you have the option of either fighting them, throwing yourself, or just hiding. Being the buff barbarian looking man we are, we decide to see who it is head on. This, my friends, is tortur, and this is what happens to you if you give him what he wants. Never given. So yeah, the man straps you to a table and ultimately just tortures you, chopping off limb by limb, from your arms to your gonads. The next playthrough, before I switch up the whole plan, I just decided to take on the boss for fun. Upon starting a whole new build, I'm like this horse, dead.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
At this point, I find a little girl in a cage and there ain't shit I can do about it, so I leave her. So instead of going down the well this time, I decide to actually go through the door where we see this altar with these weirdos. So we end up just slicing up the altar. The weirdos try fighting us, so we just take them out. We find this thing that looks like it was created by Ermac because it's just a whole bunch of souls put together called a human hydra. And it asks us for food. So we ask what it eats, and it eats humans. Well, I don't know why I think I'm on its side. So finding myself in a battle with another guard, it kills me. But this time I end up inside of the rotten flesh to where we just gotta crawl out of what looks like a butthole. So after we get out of the rectum, we end up making our way around, fall back down the hill, but ultimately get killed by one of these flying mouths. Now ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats, cause after this guard beat me, he put me on black. So after getting the molester moon treatment, we end up crawling around and running into a man named Buckman. So after talking to Buckman, he'll just simply tell you that he's been lost down here for quite a while. If you do some digging though, he will tell you to watch out for tortur, the most dangerous thing in this dungeon, the torturer. Coming out of the room, something awaits us at the other side of the gate. Stupid. Sick of being legless, I switched to an Enki the priest playthrough. Let's go. But I ended up climbing into this bloody toilet, ultimately getting me stuck. And having no way out, I had to just start again. Yay.
You stupid.
So in bets that aren't safe, you have to do a coin toss. And if you fail the coin toss, you don't get to save the game. And you're awoken by an intruder. Seeing as how the first one failed, I simply decided to just simply, try again. And I failed the coin toss.
Here's Johnny.
Becoming a little bit better at this point, I actually understand how to defeat my opponents. Walking around this dungeon for too long, you get sucked into the underground with this dark witch type boss, but I can't really fight him solo, so I just leave him. Maybe I lied about understanding how to kill the enemies, but that all changes by the flip of a coin, because now I have a teammate, a skeleton. So one of Enki's abilities is necromancy, bringing the dead back to life. So once you bring back the dead to life, name them, but if you fail bringing them back, you ultimately have to fight them and then try again.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up.
So after jumping that octopus, bitch, we outside. And then we see the girl again, but still ain't nothing that we can do, so we leave her ass again.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back! Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
Deciding that my team wasn't at its full potential, I decided to go and get the ghoul, who I failed to capture the first time. But we got the soul in the body the second time.
Give me the power, I beg of you.
So after renaming our ghoul, we're on our way. It was about time I got my payback on the archer. I stepped on a rusty nail, but can't nothing stop this team, except maybe a door. Running back into say Seymour, we see that he's with Buckman this time. He's still cautious, but Buckman says he knows us. He asks if we're sane, we say yes, and then we're open to dialogue and tells us to hold on to our sanity. At this point, I find this thing just talking about a whole bunch of nonsense about connections to gods and whatever, but I figure out that it's for an altar called the Hexen, which is pretty much just a skill tree. So these skill trees are just things you unlock to make things in the world easier. Heading back outside of the dungeon, we run into a merchant who we end up picking up a healing potion from. Coming back to the ritual circle, me and my ghoul make love to become an abomination. Just playing, to become one of the strongest creatures we can. It is pretty much like the fusion dance, but like, with intercourse. So yeah, this is how we look now. And at this point, I'm just realizing that like the artwork kind of reminds me of those old paintings. Pulling a lever, we activate a mechanism. But as we're heading towards it, I end up dying due to that rusted nail I stepped on earlier. So coming back, the lever activated a lift so I don't gotta jump down and break my legs again. After a little bit of exploration, I end up back in the cave. Talk to the old man, and just keep on, well, alchemist, and just keep on moving forward. Coming into a room, we find two enemies that I shouldn't have ran into. You see that yellow mage doing that dance? That red bubble takes off my limbs one by one. Fighting the crow doesn't go good whatsoever. So when this Itachi-ass villain makes his crows eat out your eyes, you can no longer see, ultimately making you miss like all your headshots. Spinning back, I slap her around the ghost so I can feel tough again. This dog right here is my next companion, cause after we beat her, we give her the option to join our group, cause we also gave her some meat. Trying to get one last summon, you need to get some information out of these dudes, which I tried, but they just kept on dying before they actually finished giving me the quest line. Stones are used at the Hexen, which you can get from each of their bodies. Moving along, we see this bitch getting her ass whooped, and we can't just leave it, but we decided to help her. We ultimately save her from the cave dweller, and then move on to talking her into joining the group. She's just pretty much searching for the other squad mates and her captains that she came in with, whatever. Trying to get Astra still, I try the quest line again, try and question him, but ultimately he ends up dying before I get the information I needed, yet again. So still making my way through the cave dwellers' houses, I run into two more fights before I reach some progress. So finding this pit with blood on it, I was weary of actually going down, but since I ended up getting chased, thought why not? While actually making our way into the hole, it seems to be a tribe or civilization, kind of like how the cave dwellers had their own just place for themselves. It seems like this is a place for cannibals, ones that wear masks. So finding this quote-unquote mysterious organ, I've cut it open and it does absolutely nothing, so I don't really know what it is, but it's kind of disturbing. At this point, my 4-man team has surpassed the powers of the gods because we can now break open a door. Opposing me as soon as I get into the room is a guard, which we dispatch pretty easily. Moving along, we find ourselves in this area with a pretty weird texture, but we just maneuver through where we ultimately find a guard that has armor this time, which again we dispatch of pretty easily. At this point, we stumble across a dead body, the same man Darce was looking for. His throat has been cut open. He's been dead for a while. This is the man you came here for, meaning your initial mission has failed. Darce takes a step forward, looks at the man, screams no, and then has a little meltdown. We can talk to her, but we just decide to let her cry it out instead. Your task in the dungeon is done. There's no longer any reason to stay here. Ignoring the warning and staying in the dungeon, we hear a coin flip on a chest. But yeah, cutting open this purple organ thing, nothing really happens, it just goes still. But my discovery is interrupted by the Raven walking in. I find another skeleton, so I try to make it mine, but I don't got room. My last standoff with the Raven goes absolutely horrible, as I already started with broken bones. He picked off my teammates all one by one and made me blind close to off the bat, meaning I landed nothing and missed over like 20 headshots throughout our fight. So yeah, 6 hours of gameplay and I completed nothing.